beef. Why do you have such a problem with me?
Can we get the real Andy? I would prefer the real Andy.
Oh, let's get the real Max. I'll take off my mask when you take off your mask, brother.
Because who's your new favorite YouTuber, Ian, that wanted to be on the show with us?
The Madman. The Madman.
Mad Movie Man.
Let's bring on Max Movies because he scares the living shit out of me. Hold on.
Oh, wow.
Mad Max says, I think you should apologize. Right? I'm sitting here in a goddamn torn down pool house.
I don't even know who you
pool house
are.
is torn apart. Okay, it's torn apart because I'm remodeling on my $70 webcam. Okay, I'm no better than you.
Movie Madness Entertainment.
Welcome, everyone. One viewer. Who is there? Hey, Rhea. Hey, Rhea. This is not going to be a long episode of Scoop Wars. On this episode, I just want to talk my initial impressions of it, not a review. I actually think I'm going to challenge myself to do more reviews. I'm going to try because I'm not very good at it. I'm not very good at articulating. I'm not good at short form content. My jam is live streams and talking to everyone. Your boy Mirage. So Grace is mad about Henry coming back, or is she disappointed in the direction of DC? Well, she was the first one to give major claims. One of the big people 6 years ago, I believe, when with Batman v Superman, I claimed there was an anti DC agenda in the review community. It got a lot of traction, a lot of heat. John Campia called her an idiot, and I actually wanted to bring up that video, but I think she deleted it. I can't find it. I think she if there is that sort of scenario, I don't necessarily believe it's an anti-DC. I think she had some points in the video back in the day when I watched it. I have some proof of the existence of this controversy because I believe she deleted most of it because I can't find it on her channel. Chubby Teddy knows what I'm talking about. Chubby Teddy, remember when Grace Randolph said there's an anti-DC agenda in the credit community when BVS came out against BVS in Civil War? Remember that? And now, if there was such a thing, I think she has joined that by being an official Rotten Tomatoes critic and really salty on DC right now. Really salty. I just think it's biases. Marvel is a lot more fun for these critics. It has a lot more things in the formula to get out, to get outside the comic book bubble. And Marvel has made some great strides with representation. And I do think that the review community, I don't think representation is the big thing. I think that what they really look for is some kind of angle with your superhero movie instead of just being a superhero movie. Like, for instance, The Dark Knight is more than just a superhero movie. It's a great, it's a great action film, great intense, like adult action film. It transcends comic book movies. That's what I'm trying to say. They want something to be a little bit more. Sometimes you just want a great comic book movie. That is how I could sell it. This is not a masterpiece. It's fun. It's got action. It's got characters. It gives you what it wants. Gives you more than you need with action and characters and fun. Not every joke lands. And the villain could have been a little bit cooler without getting the spoilers. But overall, I think this is a success. And I would also, in this episode, give you my predictions on how this is going to translate to box office success. I do not think it's going to get $1 billion. I think the first weekend is going to be strong. And I believe, if I'm going to compare it to anything else, I think It's a better film than Venom, but I think it might get somewhere in the Venom numbers, because you're also seeing that in the Rotten Tomatoes score for this project. Remember to smash the like button, because I also didn't want to go live when some other people were going live, like Matt is live, but I was going to try to wait till 3, but if I go wait till 3, I'm not going to record a video. Hunter Iggy, Max Movie, what's up? Have an awesome rest of the week. Your boy Mirage says, oh, I forgot her and Campy had a feud. She is right. There are toxic fans, but Civil War is much better than VS at the time. I agree it's better than BVS, but it's also different. It's different than BVS. And that's one of my favorite comic book movies of all time. I love Batman v Superman. I really like Lex. It took me a few viewings to really enjoy Lex. I never hated him, but I really like Lex. All right, now let's show you what's happening with I'll show you first before we get to Grace and the John Campia situation. And I want you to answer in the comment section below and on the replay, do you believe there is an anti-DC agenda in the review community? Because this is something she brought up that I think she wants to hide now. That she doesn't, she erased it from her YouTube channel. And now, based on the current, here's my thing. I think she has some strong criticisms of where DC is going right now. But I also think her saltiness has compromised her objectivity. I think she's overly biased against DC, including the proof where I will show to you where she won't take the L on the Henry Cavill reporting. Basically, well, you should have done what I said. Not admitting that she was wrong on the reporting that he was maybe being considered for Marvel, but she's like, well, why did he go back to this? It's almost like, I wasn't wrong. He should listen to me. He should do better. He has better opportunities out there. Hey, Hate and Nate. BVS just bored me when I was a kid, but now I like it more. I love that movie. Okay, so let's get to the Rotten Tomatoes first. We do have a few scoops for Scoop Wars today as well. Rel McMillan says there's definitely an anti-DC agenda, and Grace is proving she no longer has great sources. I don't think there's here's where I disagree, Rel. I don't think there's an anti-DC agenda. I think there's a pro MCU agenda. I think they're a little more lenient with Marvel properties because they like the product as a whole. And more so than, no, this is not spoiler talk. No, we're not getting to spoilers. I believe there's a pro Marvel agenda, and it's more of a party. To be fair, it's more of a party over there at the MCU. It definitely at that time, I do believe, not an anti-DC agenda, but there was an anti-Sneider agenda after Sucker Punch. Just like I believe there was an anti Colin Trevorrow agenda after that one movie he did right after Jurassic World and lost episode 9. When you do, here's something that I believe happens in the review committee, okay? When you're a director and you're getting good box office, you're getting good reception in the review community, and then when you do a passion project, like this is just, there's been more examples of this too, but a passion project like Zack Snyder for Sucker Punch and Colin Trevorrow for that other movie that I didn't see that people like really were offended by. They didn't like the storyline at all. They really go harsh for the rest of their movie career, especially when it's their own IP. Like they developed the concept, the story, they put it out there, and they say, this is what you came up with. So after Sucker Punch, there was a big turn for Zack Snyder critics. And I don't think and I don't think it's ever we've fully really covered that. Maybe the Snyder Cut did. I think the Snyder Cut did, but there was a strong in my opinion, there was a strong anti-Snyder sentiment, not even about DC, after Sucker Punch. They don't like the portrayal of women in that movie. They don't like that Zach was telling a story about a bunch of women that were manipulated, and just like that Colin Trevorrow shit show, that project, people, this is live. I'm not going to go long. I love the Snyder Cut. Yeah, I just watched it. And this is not a review. I'm going to work on a review tomorrow, but I would say I really, really like this movie. I don't love it. Well, actually, I do love it. I do love it because it's just a comic book movie. Sometimes a comic book movie is just a comic book movie. It doesn't have to do next level things like The Dark Knight. And I think that's what the review community is looking for, especially with the oversaturation of comic book movies. If you don't bring something new to the table, they're not going to reward you for it. So I believe this is the type of superhero movie that the audience is going to enjoy, but the critics are not going to reward this project. And I think it's going to get good word of mouth. Black Adam is 89%. I'm going to bring that up to get to the Rotten Tomatoes here. And I'll refresh it. I think it might have gone down one. I was going to rate it, but my wife bought it on her phone. And I think you need ticket verification through your phone. So I'm not going to rate it because she has our Cinemark app on her phone. So here it is. 44% critics and 90% audience score. I think audiences are going to be happy with this. There's a lot. It's a very good popcorn flick. Very good popcorn movie. Bang for your buck. I didn't feel it was too short. Didn't feel it was too long. Great end credit sequence. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but everyone knows what it is. Great end credit sequence. I think my wife liked it. Yes, she had fun. She laughed out loud a few times. The time she laughed out loud and this is the one I was concerned about, were Adam Smasher. She really liked some of the Adam Smasher jokes. I think he's great. I was surprised. The most surprised I was with Adam Smasher. I thought he was going to be cringe. He was actually very funny. Hawkman, I love this version of Hawkman. Dr. Fate, I love this Dr. Fate. What's her name on her to the right of me? Cyclone. She's very cool as well. I like the lady that's sort of like Tomb Raider, and her kid. Her kid, I didn't hate, but he kind of was annoying. The only thing that really felt forced, like how they have forced jokes, were some of the kid stuff. But it was okay. It's not cringe or anything. It just was like, didn't work for me. Some of the jokes were sort of like Drax. Some people said that it's like Drax, where he doesn't really understand what's going on. But he hasn't been in present times. He is a fish out of water. So you are going to have that moments. Not all of those moments worked. And some of the times where he's floating around, he floats around a lot in this movie. It seems a little bit odd without his cape. Without his cape, it seems a little bit odd. But it's still really good. And the action is amazing. Soundtrack is fun. It's just a fun movie. I almost think this would have done better in the summer. Like, is this a good time to release a movie? I'm not sure. No, my theater wasn't full. This is definitely gonna be one of those projects where the critics and the audience are going to be split. Jaylene Harris says, bro, I love Black Adam. Saw it today and loved it. I'm a little pissed at the critics score due to how they scored She-Hulk as high and they did for Thor Love and Thunder. But hey, it is what it is. Yeah, that's not the anti-DC. It's the pro-MCU agenda. And I'm pro-MCU too. I love the MCU. But I think they give a little more leniency to other projects. Yes, I still love. All right, and let's get to here's where I think this is going to land. Hopefully, I think Venom may have been an anomaly. It also landed at the right time. It was during Halloween, so that was the right time for that movie. So Venom's probably would have done the original Venom. Probably will be doing better overall box office than Black Adam will because of its great release time. I don't know if this was a great time to release this movie. I'm happy it's out now, but I think there would have been a better. This is a really summer fun movie, you know. So here is the Venom Rotten Tomatoes score, and you'll see the audience score and critics score are split almost. You know, Black Adam for the critics, 44%, audience score 90. Very similar. Also, very similar length of time. And it's a crowd pleaser. But I think Black Adam's more of a crowd pleaser than Venom. I just don't think it's going to do as good as it because of those other factors. Because people didn't really know what to expect with Venom. And that was one of the first villain movies. And the time period of releasing Halloween. I think that did really good for that project. But I think overall, this is better than the original Venom. Now, I don't hate Venom either. You know, I don't like the second one. It's not getting review bombed. It's just there's no filter for DC to just bash on it. But it doesn't have anything extra. It doesn't have any. It's not all about representation, like the critics. You know how they say, "Oh, they're social justice. They'll give passes to things for social justice." No, there's some representation in this movie. It doesn't have a lot. It doesn't go overboard, or I don't want to say overboard. It doesn't push a lot of representation in there, but it has a decent amount that I appreciate. And it doesn't have any. I think also a lot of people critics had issues with the Kahndaq being like a fictional Middle Eastern type country, and that they don't have anything really political to say there. Much to say about it, you know. So there's not this great. It's just more about comic book action and stuff. It's not doesn't go deep into the politics of Kahndaq. Zeno, this has been a good day. Audiences love Black Adam and Kevin Spacey was found not guilty. Bad take. Zeno. Just because he's found not guilty doesn't mean he didn't do some shit. I don't know. I'm not going to judge the man. I'm not a judge. I don't care. You know. Oh, Justy Views. Max has wings. Yes. Hawkman is worth seeing it on its own. JSA, JSA is not exactly Justice League, but it really made me happy to have a group of superheroes on screen for DC again. Yeah, Jade, I could see that. My biggest complaint with Sabak was average villain. Yeah, I mean, they set up the villain good throughout the whole movie if you really think about it, but I wish they would have just used. It seems like Sabak was CGI, where I think they should have just used someone in the with the same kind of body structure as Black Adam and painted him red. Like, I don't know why they had to use a CGI Sabak. I think it could have looked better. The mic went loud for a moment. Okay. Yeah. Sabak looks like Mephisto. Okay, so let's get to now that I talked about. Let me refresh it here. Oh yeah, the audience score went down to 89%, but it's basically going to be in that range, 80 to 89. Let's get to Grace. Okay, let me see here. Some people in the community didn't like Black Adam because the effects were obvious. Show me a comic book movie without obvious CGI effects. Yeah, most of the CGI is really good. Dr. Fate CGI, Cyclone CGI, Atom Smasher CGI, Hawkman CGI, Black Adam CGI was all very good. The only downside for the CGI was Sabak for me. Sabak was iffy. It didn't look horrible. It could have been better. You know, and I prefer In the Flesh villain with CGI enhancements instead of all CGI. And I'm pretty sure it was all CGI. Unless I'm wrong. I mean, I'll check that out. It looked it to me. Okay, so here is where Grace, I want to show just a little bit of it because she says right at the beginning, I believe she could still not take an L about the Henry Cavill coverage. And we're not going to watch a lot of it, Jaylene, don't worry. It's just to prove a point where I think her opinion is compromised and she cannot be objective enough because she's salty about her wrong scoops. I really believe it. So now that we know, spoiler warning, Cavill is back, you know, Cavill is back, and she spoiled that on Twitter. She has to constantly defend it and say she was trying to help people by saying that. And then at the beginning of this, which I cannot wait for this next video that she releases, and smash the hell of the like button for Scoop Wars, everyone. If you want this series to continue, please show your support for this series. I enjoy doing it. It's just mostly me, you guys talking about scoops, talking about the review community and scoopers as well. Here's my take on it. She just can't admit that she was wrong about him going to the MCU, so she frames it in a way that says he decided this over Marvel and he may have missed out on opportunities. And I think that's bullshit because she hasn't really proven that Marvel was really considering Cavill. And I don't think they were. I don't think Feige wanted Cavill after the Superman controversy. It's been years. People think of him as Superman. People think of Henry Cavill as Superman. Kevin Feige doesn't need Cavill. Scoop Wars are fun because it's like, yes. So this is the very beginning, and she claims she's going to put a video out about this, and I can't wait. But she said later today, and I didn't see it. All right, here it is.
Hello, and welcome to my spoiler review for Black Adam. And I just want to say up front that I'm going to be making a separate video to really go into detail on that super cameo at the end of the movie. There's so much to discuss. How did it happen? What's going to happen?
How she acts like she is. This is what's so funny. She acts like she knows everything about it. Why did it happen? She didn't know it was going to happen. She said Cavill was going to be on a videotape in the Flash, and she said it was going to be a headless cameo. She said it was going to be a headless cameo. And now she is saying, you know, she's been consistently saying for months that Cavill is going to go to Marvel. She was so wrong on this. And basically she's framing it, well, he had a lot of choices and he went with the wrong choice. But he should have listened to me, Grace Randolph. Super Scooper Supreme. Relevant Melon, do you think Grace had sources for Cavill scoops? Or was she just making stuff up? She could have sources. She's big enough that she could. I think she does, but I also think it's a combination of her own sources that she just goes to the first one available. And I think she also looks at other scoopers to try to see what they say too. When she says, let me check my sources, I think she looks at other scoopers, see what they're saying, like Daniel RPK, My Time to Shine Hello, and she goes to her one source, and if she doesn't hear it, it doesn't happen. This is what's so funny about Scoop Wars is people say, well, my source didn't say it, so it must not be true. There's so many sources out there with different information, you know? But she was also saying that he was going to go to Marvel. She was so off the mark on all of DC this whole year. This has been a bad year for her tea spilling. Okay, so I just want to play a little bit more of that. That's basically what she's like, well, he made him going back when he had other opportunities. How does she know he had other opportunities?
Will it definitely happen, or how likely is it to happen? And what did I think of how Henry Cavill looked, and what do I think of Henry Cavill's decision to pursue this instead of other opportunities?
Other opportunities, you see? This is how she spins it, where I wasn't wrong. He chose this over other opportunities. This hasn't been proven by her. This is bullshit that she's spewing. And also, now the goalpost has been moved by Grace and Matt. Matt, I love Matt, but he's saying, well, that one reporter said that he hasn't confirmed to be signed on to Man of Steel 2 yet. Are you fucking kidding me? If you want to do these arguments, go right ahead. Okay, go right ahead. But there's no way that you introduce Henry Cavill and I'm like, well, that's it. That's it. We put him at the end of Black Adam. That's it. He's not signed. He's never coming back. That would be suicide for Warner Brothers if they do that. Suicide. She was off the mark, confident and condescending on Twitter for believing Cavill would be in it. Absolutely. What question? I don't know if they had him in at all. Like, you're assuming that it's another headless cameo. It could have been something different for the end credit sequence. Honestly, here's what I think it was. I think the end credit, here's spoilers, spoiler warning. Now that I've seen the end credit sequence in context, I believe it was Amanda Waller talking to Black Adam, saying you got to watch yourself. And then he's like, I could do what I want. There's no one on this world. And then Waller gives the potential that I could send people for you, and then it cuts off. And then once they got Cavill back, they added that extra part where he comes in through the mist. I think that scene could have worked without Cavill. I don't think it would have been a headless cameo because honestly, there's other superheroes in the DC that are out of this world too that they could be alluding to, and it would have been vague enough. Maybe they meant Supergirl. Who knows? I don't know. We'll have to see from Flash. But that's what I believe. Or Martian Manhunt. I don't know. There could have been multiple scenarios. It would have been more vague instead of, oh, here's Superman. So that scene could have played without the part added with Cavill. It would have played the same, more vague, but not as exciting. And it still would have been accurate of Waller threatening. And I think they just added that Cavill part. All right. But that's where we're at now, is everyone is saying, well, that one reporter said he didn't sign a contract yet. I'm like, okay, if you want to argue these stupid arguments, go right ahead. But why would you release this film with Cavill in it and be like, no, and not have plans for him? That's asinine. That's asinine. Okay. Play a lesser known Marvel character. It's my opinion, I think Cavill was never in consideration for a Marvel character because he's just so well known as Superman. It would be hard to do the suspension of disbelief, let alone a well-known actor to play a superhero role, but one that's played as one of the most iconic superheroes in all of superhero history Superman, it's hard to overcome that. And I severely doubt, I could be wrong, I severely doubt that he was ever in strong consideration for an MCU character. And I don't think that would have been a better opportunity for him either, the way she's framing it here. I don't believe it. Okay, so let's see what else she says.
That have been kind of in front of him recently. There's lots to discuss. That video will go up later today. But I do want to address it here because I think it's become the reason for this movie's existence.
No. That's another thing that's a lot of critics are going overboard. The Superman is not the reason for this movie's existence. This movie stands on its own without the Superman cameo. It just makes it that much cooler that it has it. It definitely stands on its own. It's not garbage without the Superman cameo. It just makes it really cool. That's all. Harm Garcia, yes. Caden says, also she mentions multiple people. We only know 2 aliens before Flash. Okay. Yeah, but you could have just had that. You know what I mean, though, Caden? You could have had that scene without Cavill, and it could have, that could have been the end credit scene. And people would be like, oh, does she mean Superman? And you would have just left it out there. But that you wouldn't have been on the hook like you are now to putting Cavill in there. Let's get to some other scoops, and then we'll react to the John Campia and Grace controversy back in the day about the anti-DC agenda. Grace the Rock was cast back in 2007 Superman, nothing to do with the movie's existence. Right, Jade. All right, here's some other stuff that's, now that I've seen it, I think there is a lot of potential for a director's cut. And I hope they do, because there is some homages to Zack Snyder. And I like superhero director's cut. And I think that's something DC, even besides Zack Snyder, did good back in the day. The Suicide Squad, the original one, had a director's cut. The Green Lantern. Now, some people don't like some of those movies, but I think they should get back to it. It makes a strong push for buying the physical product, and it gives you something else. I would say make a debut of it, make an R-rated cut on HBO Max. Use the theatrical cut for the PG-13 version. Get the R cut on HBO Max. That's how I would sell it if I was in charge. But according to, let me see, We Got This Covered. Take that for what you will. The R-rated version of Black Adam is quickly becoming the new Snyder Cut. I don't think it's on that level. Here's someone on Twitter. I don't, take this for what you will. I don't know how credible this is. But the difference is that the R-rated cut of Black Adam actually exists and is finished. The film got its PG-13 just a few weeks ago. Put the R-rated cut on physical release or even Max. And I really do think that's a way to get more bang for your buck. Now, some people don't like that. Some people say that's double dipping on your consumer. And I say you don't have to buy the other version. You could just stick with the theatrical. Options are never a bad thing, in my opinion. Never a bad thing, in my opinion. I would strongly suggest that Warner Brothers Discovery consider releasing the R-rated cut somehow. HBO Max exclusive version. And I think that is the way to really change the game in the industry. And I've said this consistently on my show for years. Make different versions for different formats. Theatrical, special edition on streaming, special physical releases, limited editions. Yes, and MCU has been lacking in that. I would love some MCU director's cuts. And I think that's one of Feige's weaknesses. Feige should let it happen. Why they're waiting till February to drop the disc is beyond me. I don't know. I haven't heard that. Oh, for F's sake. No, they had to cut it down to get the, that's what the rumors are saying, is that it was finished and they had to cut stuff out to get it to PG-13. It does have a lot of violence. It does. All right, here is one juicy scoop for you. I'm not going to spend too much time on it because it's another Fantastic Four scoop, but I do want your opinion on this. This also comes from the source is Jeff Sneider. This is a rumor at this point. Adam Driver reportedly met with Marvel Studios concerning a role for the upcoming Fantastic Four film. Now, do you believe that John Krasinski is still in it? Do you think he'd make a good Doctor Doom? What do you think? And is this credible, or do you want to see it? I want you to answer all those questions in the comment section below. I'm always interested with Adam Driver. I think he could make a very interesting Doom or Reed Richards. And I'm not against John Krasinski, but I just did not like his portrayal of it that much. Although I do need to see more. Doctor Doom, that would be amazing. That would be amazing. Doctor Doom, please. Feige needs to go the R-rated route. I think they should do multiple versions. I don't know why the industry, especially when the industry is suffering financially, plan for multiple versions. Tell your all your talent. Now let's get to the. I found this video. Now I could not find. Oh, and I was also looking at the box office. I'm going to be covering the Black Adam box office. I still might be off on the 100 million for opening weekend, but I think it's going to be. I want to see 80 to 100, but at least 70 million to 100 million domestic. I'm going to stick with 100 million, though, to see where it goes. I think it's going to get good word of mouth. I think people are going to say, that's a fun movie. And I think it's going to get the normies. I think people that aren't not gatekeepers, I think this is going to appeal to non-gatekeepers of Black Adam. If you stuck strictly to the source material, I would be up for that too. But I don't think it would be as profitable as this movie. I think this plays to The Rock's strengths. You don't try to make him like get a Shakespeare performance out of him. You just let him be an action star, and you let him be intense. You throw in some great characters. You have some fun. 600 to 700 million. Yeah. But so far, I don't see any box office results yet. I'm looking for box office. It says Black Adam finally signals the return of the blockbuster. So we'll see. I'm really looking forward to it. I hope it has a great preview night. I contributed it 6 more days to Wakanda Forever, the premiere, you mean? I have to get my tickets. All right, and just for fun at the end, this is a video made by another YouTuber because, again, I can't find the original Grace video. I think she took it down. I did find the John Campia version. It's also in the description if you'd like to check it out. Yeah, I think it's a rewatch. I think there's a lot of fun there. It's got that Justice, even though JSA is different than Justice League, the team is really fun. Here's what I would say. I had concerns about the JSA being were not worthy, but hope they had a strong presence in the movie. And I think they have a strongest presence as Black Adam. And I think that's good. Could there have been a little bit more backstory to some of their characters? Absolutely. I don't think it needed it, though. It just got right into this. It just skates past some of that superhero origin stuff and goes straight to the need for the superheroes. Basically, you need this team. So do we need to go into all their backstories at the beginning just to make this overstuffed? I don't think so. I don't think the film needed to go into, Cyclone and Atom Smasher's origins or Hawkman and Dr. Fate too much. Basically, you say there's a JSA available. They need help to address the Black Adam situation in Kahndaq. And I think it would have slowed the movie down if they went and did all their backstories in there. I think that would have been a detriment, actually. Even though I would love to see their backstories. It just didn't make sense here. It keeps it keeps it stays on target, the focus of the movie, instead of going all over the place. Hawkman does need a solo movie. Yes, exactly. The point of it was the point was that Waller this is slight spoilers, but Waller contacts the JSA and says, we need you for this Black Adam situation in Kahndaq. He's been awakened and you need to go take care of it. So what's your thought process? We need to get the team together to go take care of that. Do you need to say, here's the team and this is how they become a superhero? Not really. I hope so. I'm really interested in the Dr. Fate spinoff, Caden, if you know what I mean. I'm really interested. Okay, so let's look at this. This is from, let me see this channel's name. I'll subscribe to him. Marwan Al-Shafai. Okay. So he's getting to the Grace Randolph versus John Campia versus Grace Randolph back in the day for the anti-DC agenda.
There was an Area 51 conspiracy for a very long time, and that turned out to be a real thing. But this is just not a thing, guys. Or is it? Meanwhile, on Twitter, Grace Randolph shared a post of movie critic Jen Yamato that used to work at the Daily Beast, criticizing her review for praising Captain America Civil War, but taking a shot at Batman vs. Superman. To Grace Randolph, this was proof that there was some sort of anti-DC agenda going on. And while this was going on, people that follow John Campia on Twitter asked him for his thoughts on this anti-DC conspiracy. So he responded with this. Anyone who says a critic who likes Captain America Civil War more
now, he's aiming this directly at Grace Randolph. The Keeper and Grace back in the day really battled it out. Really. And
Batman vs. Superman is somehow biased or has an anti-DC agenda is an idiot.
Idiot
with zero credibility. Now, John Campia and Grace Randolph were not following each other on Twitter, at least at the time. But someone sent John Campia's post to Grace Randolph. So Grace took it personally and responded with this. This couldn't possibly be about me because I said specifically the problem is attacking Batman versus Superman.
I do see her point there. She's saying that they used Captain America Civil War to attack BVS. I mean, that's what a lot of us movie nerds do, though. Oh, this was better than that. You do comparisons. Get your facts right. Giovanna Campia. Okay.
And to praise Captain America Civil War. Get your facts right. And in another post, she does clarify that she thinks John Campia's post was an attack on her and basically says, you
look at Andy Signore. Look at Andy. Isn't this funny? Andy Signore even jumped in. Don't want to keep poking, but you did call him out. Oh, look at, yeah, Andy Signore. Isn't that funny? Andy Signore says, I don't want to keep poking. That's all Andy Signore does.
Both joined the conversation that you weren't included in and now are angry that all don't agree with you. And here's where shit gets personal, baby.
Now he also shows some clips of Campia, Campia versus Grace fight. I've no. Well, Jade, you say that now. You say that now, but wait till you see how hard Campia goes after. There's a clip here. I have the full video in the description, but there's a clip that this YouTuber makes that you might really enjoy. You might become a Campia fan. Campia really lays it out sometimes. I like that.
Posted a picture of John Campia and his wife at a red carpet and put $signs. And then posted the screenshot of a text talking about how John Campia and Andy Signore, who used to work for Screen Junkies, muscled their way into her conversation about how critics have an anti-DC agenda. And she says, I've been having a long-standing conversation with my viewers about Batman vs. Superman hate, which many agree is a valid standpoint. One viewer sends me the blurb of a Captain America Civil War review review, totally proving my point. Andy Signor and John Campia muscle their way into this conversation, hysterically twisting my words. I refuse to back down nor give in to the groupthink that demands we all hate Batman versus Superman. That's the gist of the post, and all this triggered the John Campia, which eventually led him to make this video.
Now this is a good clip. This is a good clip. I wish I had, because I remember watching the video back in the day. I thumbs it up, Grace. It's gone. I don't think she thinks this way anymore. She's flip-flopped. They're fighting because they're similar personalities. All right. What for Wakanda Forever? Social embargo lifts Wednesday night. Review embargo lifts. Oh, you mean thanks to Degrassi for Wakanda Forever next week. I have to set up a stream for that. Okay. Because those streams do pretty good. All right, here we go.
24 hours ago, I've never thought about Grace Randolph in my life. And now she's putting up Twitter posts about me with pictures of me and pictures of my wife and some very insinuating and insulting things. You're a psychopath. And you clearly have no idea what you're talking about. Newsflash, you idiot. I am one of those people who likes and defends.
Newsflash, you idiot. You're a psychopath. This is, I got to watch this again. You see, Jade? Does this make you like John Campia anymore? Woo. All right, let's.
And insulting things. You're a psychopath. And you clearly have no idea what you're talking about. Newsflash, you idiot. I am one of those people who likes and defends and stands up.
And I do know this too because I followed Campia for a while. He does like Batman v Superman. He does. See, I don't disagree. That's as much as a compliment you could muster for Campia, Jade. All right.
Batman versus Superman. You kind of tip your hand that you're absolutely clueless when you write nonsense like this, saying Campia won't be happy till nobody likes Batman versus Superman. He can't handle that some people like Batman versus Superman. Like, what are you talking about, you psychopath? I am one of the few Batman versus Superman supporters out there, you nitwit. You insulted me. You put pictures of me and my wife with dollar signs up in your thing.
I think Matt Jarbo may have done something not as egregious as that, but something similar with the wife angle. Which, hey, I can respect. Don't go after. Don't bring John's wife into this. That's his. Oh God, Zeno, bad take. I hope Wakanda Forever can survive through Girl Panther and can't be Iron Woman. Oh God, you've been watching too much Comicsgate.
Thing. You wrote out these long diatribes about me saying how I hate this and I hate that and all that kind of stuff. As somebody who is a Batman versus Superman fan, you are a fucking embarrassment to us.
Oh, embarrassment.
Grace, you are an embarrassment. You're embarrassing people who are Batman versus Superman fans, and you're just a disgrace.
Now, John Campia's
Grace is a disgrace. Grace is a disgrace. Wow.
video clarified that he posted this tweet in response to people on his Twitter account asking him about his opinion on the anti-DC matter, and it wasn't a response to what Grace said. A lot of Grace Randolph fans know that Grace sometimes tends to over-dramatize things.
Yes.
But some people blame John Campia for being unprofessional in
No,
that.
I don't. I think he was justified. I think he was justified there. So that's about all for this episode of Scoop Wars. I did have one more little mini scoop that I wanted to cover from Mikey and Sil. I'd actually put Ironheart over War Machine, Zeno. Listen, I'm not against Don Cheadle, and I like the character of Rhodey and War Machine, but he's just been bland to me. I want to see how Ironheart does. And I got to get to bed. It's Namor's movie. Some of the best Namor stories ever discussed other characters. Yeah, it's nothing new. Wait, what? What did I say? Okay, let me get to this, and then I'll call it a night. It's 3 a.m. I got to get to bed. I still didn't watch Andor yet. Oh my. All right, so this is just a mini scoop, basically saying Brainiac the villain for Cavill Superman film. Let's listen to this.
They want a villain that they can do all sorts of visual effects with, and they make it very tough for Superman. Should I just say it still? Just come out and say it.
Yeah, you just say
Brainiac.
it.
Brainiac. They want a villain that they can do all sorts of visual effects with, and they make it very tough for Superman. Should I just say it still? Just come out and say it.
Yeah, you just say
Brainiac.
it.
Brainiac. All right. That is where I'll end for you. They're saying, Mikey is saying, Brainiac. I think that's also a guess that I would have had if they do a Man of Steel 2 and they leave other villains for the Justice League or the JSA. It does also seem that there's a lot of traction towards going towards the Legion of Doom, which is not where Sneider was going. But will they also bring back Lex, though? Will they bring back Jesse Eisenberg as Lex? Because I like that Lex, and I want to see him like he was. I like some things about the Justice League. The end credits scene where Lex is shaved bald on the boat talking to Deathstroke. Yeah, I know. Yes, exactly. That's like the first one you would say. Yeah, that I would have guessed that too. I would hope it would be a combination of both Brainiac and Lex Luthor, though. I would like them both in the movie. They would probably be true, even if they, yeah. So that's all for now. I'll see you back tomorrow night. I got to get to sleep. All Ironheart is a copy of a goodie anime character from Bubblegum Crisis. Okay. Thank you, Zeno. Oh, I just unplugged my audio jack. I got to stick it in the right hole again. That's from the Snyder. I have to rewatch the end of the Snyder Cut where they show. Do they show Lex and Deathstroke? Well, Deathstroke is in the Snyder Cut, but did they show Lex on the boat with Deathstroke? I don't remember that part. And I just watched it. Whoa, what? Whoa, what? All right. Good night, everyone. Support Scoop Wars. Remember to thumbs up this video and leave me some comments for the next episode.